blonde is gone. His curls are gone.
Maybe it was part of the tactic of like, okay, we've got Isak, Ekitike, and Gravenberch that they're tripleting right now, and maybe we can confuse the other team if we all have the same haircut, we wear the same shoes, we're like the same height, you know.
They're
it didn't
trying
work,
to confuse me. I feel confused.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Liverpool Girlies Podcast, a place where we welcome anyone who loves to obsess over Liverpool FC and wants to talk about everything from Marmadashvili making his Premier League debut to Hugo Ekitike's new haircut. My name is Molly Ann and I'm here with Annika and Stephanie. We are three friends who share a love of Liverpool and dream of one day having a cup of coffee at the AXA Training Center coffee bar. So, we're here. We've made it through another week. This is, to be dramatic, but an unprecedented week. We're in unprecedented times for the Liverpool Girlies. We're post-Liverpool Chelsea match, and we've now lost 3 matches in a row. Obviously, we're going to talk in detail about this week, about the last 2 matches, but just wanted to do a quick temperature check. How are we doing? How are we feeling today?
Been a hard week to be a Liverpool girly. It's been rough, but I have not lost. There have been so many positives this week as well. So I'm excited to chat about with you guys.
Yeah, I think key takeaway for me is there are some matches that you lose that are still fun to watch, and then there are some matches you lose that are also miserable to watch. So I'm grateful for the ones that are least fun along the way.
About the friends that you made along the way.
Absolutely.
I think I'm always happy to support Liverpool. We'll always love this team. And it's okay that this week feels a little more challenging than ones we've experienced in the past.
Since we started watching, have we lost 3 games in a row?
I think no.
No, it's been pre our time. It's a rite of
passage. This is our, like,
it tests our
part
loyalty.
of it. This is part of it really being a fan. You're gonna
and
go
with
through.
How much fun today's game was fun to watch. The pub, the vibes were amazing. It doesn't feel like we lost 3 games in a row. I don't know.
It also feels different when you're in different like competitions as well, I guess, at some level, because it counts differently. So it doesn't feel, it's 2 Premier League games in a row, but not 3. So we'll take that.
Very true.
Keeping it positive. So, okay. Well, before we get into the games, we did have some fun off the pitch moments this last week to kind of go through, starting with an unexpected but very appreciated 4 Seasons commercial from Dominic Solovoslai where he is bringing James Bond Hollywood energy to us.
This crossover was so unexpected to me. I kept rewatching it being like, am I missing something? Like, why? And also, it's great. I was like, can we cast Sobo in the old Hollywood movie? That would be great.
His chemistry with himself in the commercial was peak, like so good. And also, I don't understand him sitting in a bathtub filled with water in suit. That I don't understand the artistic vision behind that, but sure. Okay, if that sounds good. What a great commercial to wake up to. Yes.
Yeah, I woke up and I was like, am I still dreaming? Is this a fever dream? What's going on? Why is Szoboszlai driving a convertible in a suit? He's in Budapest, I think. Like, I was like, what's going on? It was so funny. I really appreciated a little bit of joy, a little bit of artistry. It was very moody, very fall vibes. So
great casting on 4 Seasons choice. My goodness. I wonder how they got that worked out.
Isn't that where they got engaged? Dom and Borka at the 4 Seasons.
Right.
And I didn't fact check that, so I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'll fact check it post pod and we can correct, but the people in update. But I think that's where they got engaged.
What if 4 Seasons sponsored the engagement ring, and so he just has commitments with them?
So,
but yeah, that was delightful.
Great, great moment there. Also, in Dominic Solovoslai news, he was awarded the August Player of the Month, and I think
very well deserved.
We're reflecting back to August. Would love to go back to the results of August because we were living on a high.
Congrats to Dom.
There we go. So very much
said yes. It's official. 4 Seasons Hotel Grisham Palace, Budapest.
Okay.
Oh my
gosh,
is where they got engaged.
Okay,
invisible strings.
She said yes.
So iconic. Dom's proposal and the club's reaction was so incredible and iconic.
Yeah.
Orca, we love you.
And then we also got a fun interaction player portraits moment with Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong. So if you haven't,
I'm loving this little series that AXA
I
is doing.
haven't seen these. It's been like a whole little collab between some of our players, and they have to paint portraits of their teammates and then have the other person guess. It's just really fun. The host just kept talking about how it was like something to get them out of their comfort zone and like paint, do something creative that they probably don't get to do. I just love getting to watch them. I think they're a fun interaction. I always love seeing Jeremy and Florian together just because they're great friends, but also so different.
They have the best
fun,
like friendship chemistry together. It's always fun to watch them just poke and tease each other.
I wonder if Jeremy gets Flo out of his box a little bit, his little introverted box.
Maybe.
I feel like you have to. If you're around Jeremy, you got to be out there. Like
Jeremy would also be a really big vibe at Silent Disco.
Yes.
Yes.
I appreciate his energy so much. Like he just he makes me feel comfortable and I'm not even there. So I feel like he has that effect on people where you're just like, oh, like it's going to be okay. Like I feel more comfortable and what a gift. Gotta love Frimmy, as I've been calling him.
We love Frimmy. And then we had to talk about it because a very big thing happened in our lives this weekend is Taylor Swift released a new album. And Wishlist, the song, was such a fun bop. And then all of a sudden she name dropped Real Madrid. And it was a fantastic moment. Who knows why that was? We have our own theories. Some people are saying that she chose that team, one, because they're a very, very successful team. And from what I understand, Bernabeu moved a football match in order for Taylor to perform on the days that she wanted to perform during the Eras Tour. So maybe that was like a thank you for them, but it also felt a little, it was a little sneaky lyric in there. So who knows?
Like,
but
Dom owes the Four Seasons, Taylor Swift owes Real Madrid. You know, everyone's
it's all of
something.
it's all of the, what's it called? The product placement, the little product placement portions of it. So
So with the theme of wish list, if you could have two things on your Liverpool wish list, what would they be? It could be an infinite list, so I have to keep it two, but what are two things you would put on a Liverpool wish list?
If we recall, I think I'm still manifesting Chiesa Kirka's friendship to blossom, so that's going to be my wish list for the internal good of the club.
Is it like I want to happen this season for the players or just Liverpool's? Okay.
It's your list.
I would love to sit down and have lunch with Arne Slot, Jurgen Klopp, and Virgil van Dijk.
Okay, dream big. Love
that.
Yeah, that's my, just put I don't want to just randomly see them on the street and say hi and take a picture. I want to sit and connect with them and ask them all my questions.
My other item on the wish list would be that we win our next match and the goal is scored by Joe Gomez. What are you thinking?
I would say number one would be the day after a great win to get to be at the training center, having coffee, sitting at the coffee bar with everybody would be my selfish for me wish list. Not for me, but not for me wish would be Florian Wirtz scores 7 goals in the next match. And I can just be everyone leave this man alone. You show him Flo. So that would be my other one. I did also think I wish I could turn back time and Darwin Núñez never leaves Liverpool, because that's truly what I would probably wish for, but I'll let him be. But yeah, I think to be at the training center, a peak morning, coming in high off a win and have coffee with everyone would be on mine.
Steph, what's your number two?
It's along the same lines of y'all's number twos of just those who haven't scored yet, those who I know who have something to prove, be given a chance to quiet all the doubters. So a Flo, a Jeremy, a Joe Gomez. I just want everyone to do well and be celebrated the way that they have earned. So that is how I feel.
Love it.
That's
We
a
love
great
our wish
question.
lists. Yeah.
Did you give 2, Annika?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first one was
Okay.
Kirkus and Chiesa because I want to be proven right. So
That's
that's really
right. That's right.
selfish.
So we all have a selfish one and a
Yeah, I think that's
non-selfish
great.
one.
That's a great way to break it up. So, and then I think on behalf of Liverpool with Real Madrid in there, I think we could all say beating Real Madrid in our upcoming
Yes.
match would be high on the
For
list
sure.
for a
Well,
lot of
and
reasons.
yeah.
Thank goodness we're playing it at Anfield.
Yeah.
Speaking
Glad.
of the Champions League, we had a Champions League match on Tuesday. We traveled, well, we didn't, but Liverpool traveled to Istanbul to play Galatasaray. So,
Can you imagine if all of a sudden we were like, yep, we went to Turkey. We were there.
frankly, like, would have loved to go to Turkey. So,
Oh, yeah.
wish I could have been there. However, actually, maybe I don't because it's the whistling in the stadium really was getting to me. So, at least at
I
home,
turned
could.
to Annika and Stephanie and I was like, if you've watched Harry Potter, you've seen the Goblet of Fire, the Triwizard Tournament, I was like, it's like the shrieking sirens underwater. I don't know, like, I don't know
the
how they're
ones
doing
in the
this.
pots. The when they pull
Or the
Mandrakes.
mandrakes.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
It reminded me
Mandrakes.
of the mandrakes. I heard someone compare it to cicadas, which I also thought was pretty accurate.
Oh, cicadas. I
Um,
love their sounds. No, it can't be cicadas.
Okay.
It was
Sure.
too screechy.
It was
But-
very screechy. I mean, and, you know, there was the whistling inside the stadium, but there was also the scare tactics the night before the match, fireworks outside of the Liverpool hotel, which was also very epic. You know, Liverpool's not just taking on Galatasaray, the team, they were taking on the fan base.
I mean, they were just trying to get that to like disrupt their rest.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
brilliant
smart.
moves, frankly. That did give me a good laugh, but then also eventually a good level of annoyance as a fan watching that match, where it did. I say this was my match of the week that we did not win, and I did not have fun watching it. Yeah, that was a hard one. How did you guys feel watching it?
That was rough. It was not enjoyable watching. Like, there are teams that I really enjoy matching up against because they play really good football and they make it really enjoyable to watch on a tactical side of things. You really get to see the talent. It just felt like it was a bunch of guys throwing themselves on the ground and being really nasty. Those games are just really frustrating, and it just made it not fun. I was really interested to go into this match seeing what it was like to go into another very excited and very loud and very supportive environment, but it almost felt icky in a way. But I don't know, it was not fun, and it was a bummer that we lost.
I definitely felt my frustration increasing as the match went on. I think I do always, I think about in the NFL, I appreciate Eagles fans a lot. They create a pretty toxic, terrible environment, but
Yes.
I respect it. I'm like, wow, okay, you really brought your A game, and I see it. And I do feel a sense of that with Galatasaray. I think it's always interesting to see different countries and different football culture. And so I'm always excited to be exposed to that. And so I went in with an appreciation. I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be really challenging. There's no hiding that. And then as the match went on, I was like, okay, well, I've had about enough of this. Would like to return to Anfield now. And no, thank you. I think that they were very effective for disrupting our flow of play. So I see that. But yeah, what did you think, Molly-Ann?
Yeah, I think same. I talked about it the couple episodes before. This was a game I was so excited about because of the environment. And now I'm like, maybe lesson learned, actually did not enjoy that. I always think you have to, the ref is not an excuse to have lost a game. If that is why you feel like you've lost, then you weren't playing your best to win. And so I don't think we were playing our best. I wasn't like, wow, we're doing everything we can. But I think it was because of we still just aren't clicking. The kind of just tactics to keep the game stopping. I felt like sometimes the crowd was in control of the ref, and he was, he just kind of lost that control for some reason. And I don't have to agree with every call the ref makes, but I appreciate when especially it's in such an intense environment where they really keep control of the match. And I just felt like he lost some of that to the crowd noise, to what was taking place inside the stadium. And so that was frustrating for me, where I felt like we got to the end of the game that I was like, I don't necessarily feel so disappointed in the loss because I didn't feel like we got outplayed. But, we still lost. We still didn't play our best. But it was just frustrating because it just didn't feel like a fluid game of football. It just was like disruption after disruption. After, like, how many times can one man go down during a match to keep stopping it, go to the sideline and come back in? Like, at some point, you're either hurt or you're not. And if you're not, you got to stop.
Getting to watch good football players play on 22 guys on a pitch play for 90 minutes is so enjoyable, no matter the teams. And so when it's stop and go like that, it's just not fun and incredibly frustrating, especially when it doesn't go your way. I just left that just feeling a little angry and just like on edge a little bit.
Well, and anytime I think that there's a call that is controversial, whether, I feel like anytime there's a call against us, it always feels controversial to me because I'm like, what's there? But when I see that other people who support other teams are also like, you know what, actually that is a gray area, I'm not so sure about that, I feel a little bit validated. So I think anytime that there's something controversial that happens, like the penalty kick, it's hard for me to let that go. I find myself like feeling a little wronged, which, not to jump ahead to today's game, but right, there was a similar situation and we did not get a PK in that moment. And it was hard for me to feel like that was like, oh, that's so unfair. But I think that is what is also very cool and unique about football, is that each match like is going to be ref differently. The game keeps moving and you don't really know what you're going to get. You don't know if things are going to end up feeling really fair to you or unfair to you or lucky or unlucky. So Galatasaray is definitely going to be a hard one for me to move on and let go of. But what's interesting about this Champions League format is we have to. Like, we are on to our next Champions League match, and we're not facing that team again right now.
It's one of the moments, I know there's been a lot of talk, is this a good new format for Champions League? To me, it's one of the times where I'm like, thank goodness gracious, we do not have to turn around and play them again, because I don't want to watch another match like that. Even if it's at Anfield and maybe it felt a little different, just tactically, if that's going to be the same approach, let's keep it moving. Let's play someone else. Thank you.
Yeah. You are so right. I didn't even think about that for the coming rounds. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad we don't have to play them again, at least right now.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll see next stage if we make it, if they make it, what that looks like. But grateful we can move on.
Yeah. Got to keep looking forward. I did also want to mention, just because it has impacts for our games the next like several months, that Alisson also had his injury moment during that game. It's never fun, obviously, to see a player injured. Feel like we're in really good hands with Marmadashvili, so that's wonderful. Yeah. But wishing Alisson a very speedy recovery. Also, it was Alisson's birthday this last week, so happy belated birthday, Alisson.
But yeah, this week it was Marmadashvili's Champions League debut and his Premier League debut. So, I mean, it's such a bummer for Ali. I hate it when he has to be out, but we're used to that. That it usually happens once a season. We'll get into it when we talk about the Chelsea match, but Gio was phenomenal, like in both matches. So he's stepped up to the plate so well. So shout out to the goalkeeping team at Liverpool. I don't know what they're doing for these guys,
but it's working
to make them. It is working. So proud of them. Anything else about the Galatasaray match before we move on?
I think I'm ready. Let's talk about Chelsea.
All right. Chelsea was today. It was another last minute loss, 2-1. We were Liverpooled again. We got to watch it at the pub today. It was a 9:30 game. Okay, so the earliest games that happen in England are 4:30 a.m. for us. And so we don't usually tend to go to the pub. We usually watch it at home. We'll go to the 7 a.m. games or later. We rarely have a match that's after 8:30, and even the 8:30 ones are rare. Today, the match started at 9:30 our time. So seeing so many more people at the pub. And I was even talking to Alisson when I was ordering some food. I was commenting on her curls and she was like, everyone's just more awake today. Everyone had time to get ready. We're just seeing people like zhuzhed up because like we had time to do that this morning. And then in a couple of matches, we have a noon game and a 1 p.m. game. So that was really exciting. The vibes at the pub were so good. I really actually enjoyed watching the match, even though we lost. That was a really big bummer. But the energy, you could hear the Liverpool supporters, even at the pub where we can't really hear the sound very well, you could hear them chanting, you could hear them singing, you could hear them cheering it on. It was such back and forth. It was such a very well matched game. And you could see such promising communication and connection at certain points. There were more mistakes than not in terms of their communication and their passing, but it seemed promising. And yeah, it was just a bummer the way that it turned out.
To me, it was, if you live by the stoppage time, you die by the stoppage time. I feel like that's our moment right now. Also, for Chelsea, it was if you live by the crossbar, you die by the crossbar. Because I thought the crossbar was going to be our hero today until it wasn't. But yeah, it was just, I think to me, felt like a really big test on how do we bounce back after these last 2 losses. When we were tied, when we equalized, I was like, okay, if we can even just hold a draw, it feels like we're making some positive momentum in figuring this out and like moving forward. And so then to end up losing it so last minute, yeah, I feel like it could be a little detrimental to our momentum. I really felt like what we'd heard from Slot and from the players this last week, like it felt like our mentality was in a great place. They obviously are the most impacted by the losses. They're really the ones living it. And so I think I just expected us to at least draw, if not win, to like start to shift that. Because that's what we've historically, for the 3 of us, seen them do the last 3 seasons. It's interesting to see where it goes from here.
Going into this game, I feel like pre-match, I had a lot of built-up anticipation. I was feeling antsy, of course, after losing the last 2 matches and just like, okay, this is a moment to see where we're at, to see are we able to not have the same story happen over and over again. And I got ready this morning. I like pulled out my lucky friendship bracelets. I was like, I'm doing anything I can to bring some good energy and some good luck. And I felt like I saw the lineup this morning and I was like, okay, I feel good about this. And like you said, the energy in the pub was great this morning. I was feeling more awake than normal, which was wonderful. Yeah, and I really enjoyed watching that game. And similarly, I was at one point just, oh my gosh, are we going to draw? We might draw. Like, yay, but like in a happy sense, yay. Dying by the stoppage time was painful as it always will be. But yeah, I'm very curious where it's going to go. I did have a couple things that I wanted to mention, some fun moments from this game. First off, I really just appreciated Connor Bradley in the first half. I know he got subbed off at the half, probably partially due to his yellow and tiredness and just the way that eventually he was getting worked. But seeing his different like moments of creativity and his determination when he's taking on someone who has the ball, I just really appreciate him and I wanted to give him his flowers for a minute. But my favorite moment of the game had to be when Ekitike came onto the field and the camera panned to him, reveal his haircut, okay? Which sounds maybe ridiculous, but no, it isn't, okay? Liverpool had not posted a photo of his haircut on Instagram. So all of a sudden I'm like, what? Who is this?
His blonde is gone. His curls are gone.
Maybe it was part of the tactic of like, okay, we've got Isak, Ekitike, and Gravenberch that they're tripleting right now, and maybe we can confuse the other team if we all have the same haircut, we wear the same shoes, we're like the same height, you know.
They're
it didn't
trying
work,
to confuse me. I feel confused, but yeah, that was that moment. Probably was my highlight of the match. Let's be real. I love that Jeremy Frimpong finally got to Ekitike. He kept saying that he was going to make him cut his hair, and he did. But
I would love to see the curls return.
Agreed.
The frosted highlighted tips I could do without if Hugo's listening and or Jeremy wants some input, but it was a shock. The shock factor was there.
Absolutely. My other Ekitike moment that I wanted to mention was like a little bit of an unexpected play when he passed the ball to Robbo and Robbo had that chance. It didn't obviously turn into anything, but I was just like, ooh, okay. I like seeing the new connections that are born, the new like things that they're working on. So now I'm going to keep my eyes on Ekitike and Robertson and see what are we working on? What could unfold?
The Robbo connection.
Yes, I'm always looking for a connection. I miss my Simi Gakpo connection. So looking for a new one.
I had a couple moments in the match. One being Cody Gakpo's goal, obviously. My moment's not so much about the goal, but just everyone's response on the pitch I thought was really interesting. He scored that goal, turned around and hightailed it back and like pointed to the crowd to celebrate, but I I'm sure they're very aware. I appreciated the response of like, we equalized. That's great. That's our job. That's what we need to be doing in this moment. It wasn't a run to the corner, cause a huge celebration. Like, you can tell their mentality is still about winning. It's not about finding the draw. And everyone's response, I think, was really indicative of that. Like, Isak came up, gave him a high five, but like, they kept moving. They had a job to do. They were focused on winning that game. So I appreciated that. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we saw Arsenal equalize with Man City at the last minute and celebrate how you won. But their celebration was like, that was big enough and that was good enough for them. And they wasted a lot of time in that moment. And so I just appreciated that that was not our focus. Like, we're proud of ourselves. We scored, we equalized, we still have more work to do. So I thought that was a good, just kind of like physical moment to really check in on where like the words that they're saying are matching their actions and, you know, what's happening on the pitch.
Shows that their standards are still very high and they're serious about it, and they are professionals and they are dedicated to winning and doing the absolute best that they can, and celebrating at the appropriate times in the appropriate ways.
Absolutely.
And then also Marmadashvili was just
Oh my gosh.
incredible. Like, I know we talked about it last week of we always want Allison to be there. Allison is not done. Like, he's the last couple of games had incredible saves, but to see Marmadashvili, I mean, there was one moment like he jumps, saves a goal. It's like seconds later, he's back up, diving to the other side to save another goal. And so I was just like, okay, like, we're good with Allison. We have a great backup. And so I was glad to see him perform so well. And, you know, kind of just one of those areas everyone can have a little, like, just leave him alone. I don't know. I think in moments like this where we're not doing so well, my main like response is to be protective of this team. And I just like wanted like Flo to have such a great game today, because I've just been like, everyone just leave him alone. So I was glad to see Marmadashvili like perform so well in that moment. And then as soon as Flo came on the pitch, I mean, within seconds, he had that incredible pass. I think our friend Young called it like a revolving door. It almost looked like where he was just like running, whipped it around over to Mo. And so, you know, we're seeing those little glimmers of like, of connection, of creativity come. It didn't go our way in the end today, but those little like moments, that communication, it's forming. It's taking time. We're still going to need more time. I don't think they totally have it figured out yet, but we got to see like some really hopeful pockets of what this team can do.
And I think moments like that are what make watching a game like today is so enjoyable still, because you're seeing these moments, you're like, oh, I could almost picture it. And, you know, it's cool to see the ways that they're like making small adjustments. You're seeing different communications be born. And it's like, yes, we will need to play better to win games. Point blank, period. And also, it's nice to enjoy aspects of games even when they don't go in your favor, because it's fun to support your club and it's fun to be a fan of Liverpool and enjoy it even in the hard moments.
I mean, and you need like these lows to appreciate the Premier League wins, to appreciate the highs. Like, if you're winning the Premier League every season, that's really cool. Like, I want that. I'm not going to say I don't want us to win, but, you know, I think now our next win like is going to feel even more triumphant because we've dug through these 3 matches, however many matches it ends up being, to get to that other side, to figure it out, to put in that hard work. So they're painful times, but they're necessary. That's part of growing.
I'm going to step on a little soapbox here for a second. No matter if we win or lose, no matter the outcome, I will forever be a Liverpool supporter. And I'm one, again, the 3 of us, just like you were saying, Molly, and you tend to be very protective over them when things like this happen. These individuals, whether it be the athletes or Arne himself, they have proven to us that we can trust them and that they have the skills to do what they need to do to get the job done. We won the Premier League last year. Like way, way, way earlier in the season. These individuals, I mean, Isak is new, Wirtz is new, Jeremy is new. Like, the new players that have come in have shown us in their former teams how phenomenal they are. There's not one person that Liverpool has brought onto the team that has not shown that they are amazing at their job. What I'm hearing and seeing online is people just being incredibly critical and blame, and here's what we can do better, and Arne needs to do this, and maybe he's not as good as we thought he was, and maybe Wirtz isn't, where the whole 007 thing, like, it's so hard for me to see that. I feel like we've lost the plot here, because we can sit here and criticize all we want and try to come up with better tactics. The reality is of what's going on is we have 7 new players on our team, and they tragically lost a teammate. These guys are human beings. The fact that, what is it? It's October. It's been 3 months since we lost Diogo. These are human beings. And Virgil said after the match today, during an interview, he said, I already told y'all many times that this season is going to be very difficult, not just because of what's happening on the pitch, also because of what happened outside of it. The transitions that they're going through with some of these guys getting close to retirement, whether it be Andy and Virgil and Allison, they're getting close to that point. So they're having to make decisions for their lives and trying to decide what are they going to do after. There's so much going on. There are people who are so upset that Chiesa isn't starting in more games, and they're like, it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing for Slot. Why is he not doing that? How dare he not do that? He would have scored. And I'm just like, guys, we have this much information of what's going on. We don't know what's going on in training. Chiesa clearly has not proven himself in training or at these games. It doesn't fit in with what Arne has planned. So it's so hard for me to see these things online of people just doubting the abilities of these guys on the pitch when they've proven to us over and over again that they have the skills, that they have the heart in it. But I just want to give them the space to figure it out and to grieve and to do what they need to do after they lost a teammate. I am so impressed the fact that they're on the pitch and playing when their teammate should have been there. There was a point during this match, it was, I think, in like the 83rd minute, I just thought Diogo's energy and skill would have been perfect to come in here right now. He would have come in and made a play happen and probably scored. And it was just like another grief point there. So anyway, they are a phenomenal team. They are phenomenal human beings. I trust them with everything. I don't doubt any of them. They need time to figure out their communication. There were so many times, anytime they would pass and it wouldn't work out, it's just, literally they are trying to figure out how to play with each other and get these plays set up, and they would just kick it into the wrong direction because they expected the other person to read their mind or to do this play. Mm-hmm. You're seeing the wheels turning, and we've seen it be successful a handful of times. It is not consistently happening. I believe in them so much. I don't doubt them, any of them, for a second. I want to give them time to figure it out and not just dog them and say, okay, you made a mistake or two, you need to be out. So anyway, they're amazing. They're phenomenal. I believe in them, and every single one of them, and they are human beings. And that's what really matters. Yeah. That's my soapbox.
Thank you for sharing your soapbox. Totally agree. I think especially the point about Diogo is so important. We watched him. We didn't know him. And so I think as fans, it's easier for us to kind of feel like we've already maybe like processed through some of that. But even before this match, Enzo Maresca was giving in his match conference, was talking about, how well he thinks Liverpool's doing given what they've gone through this summer. And I didn't know this, but he went through something similarly with a teammate that collapsed during a match and ended up passing away. And so he just talked about Liverpool is doing fantastic, period. But especially when you put in the additional factors that happened with Diogo that are happening off the pitch, it is not easy for them to show up 2-3 times a week to play a match. They're doing incredible. And so I appreciated him kind of sharing his experience, his story and viewpoint with that, and just that reminder of something really big has happened. The guys that have been there are grieving that and trying to welcome in new players that also have to be a part of this team now that, is working through this, and they weren't a part of, they weren't here last season. So it's a lot for everyone to be working through right now.
And I think from the beginning leading into the season, all the interviews that Arne was giving about the squad that he's building and everything going on, everything that was communicated to us was like, we're not just thinking about how to win this year. We're thinking about where this team is going and what we're building this year, the year after that. They've been signing longer contracts with certain players and just really figuring out what team we're going to build. And I think the first couple matches, you know, were this like kind of beautiful, like hope-filled luck on our side. You know, it was like we weren't playing our best, but somehow it was working out in our favor. And I'm grateful for that in terms of the like energy and the kind of vision that maybe that has given some of the team and the fans and some hope. But it's like, okay, and now here we are. Yep.
Not
like,
sustainable.
It's
doing
not
it that way.
sustainable. And I agree with you, Steph. Anyone who's hard on the idea that like these players, like their chance is over to prove themselves, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like we're just getting started. I can't wait to see where they grow into and what happens. But do I think that there needs to be growth? 100%. I see.
Oh, yeah.
I understand the frustration, but I also think, yeah, like we've seen that these players can be great. Let's see what they figure out being able to do at Liverpool. And I hope that, you know, we get to figure some stuff out this season, and we're going to see how long this story of our stoppage time woes and hopes continues.
We've seen them show up so well so many times. Just this whole season is a season of firsts, post losing a friend, losing a teammate. So I can't imagine what might trigger grief for them and how they have to go through and process that. We don't know what's going on for them emotionally. We saw Mo after the first match of the season just break down in tears. And he said, I did not know that was going to happen. I was not prepared for that. So it's just, grief is really sneaky, and I just want to give them space for that. Yes, this is their job, and yes, a lot of people expect them to do well and rely on them to do well and really want them to do well. But I love this team because of the humans that wear the kit, and that's what I want to focus on. Even though we have lost 3 matches in a row, that's really frustrating. But I'm frustrated for them because I know how upset they might be and how frustrated they all probably are at the moment because they know their potential. But they're human beings, period. Whether we take a trophy home this year or not, I just want to give them the time and space to be their absolute best. And it's okay that they're not right now.
Yeah, and I'm just grateful to get to have another season of watching them.
I just love this team and the sport because we get to do this together. It was so fun these last couple of years because Molly and you were on the other side of the country, and this is something that we talked about all the time and brought us together. And now you live here and we get to go to the pub and we have all those friends, and it's just a really great point of community and all the people that we've met through Liverpool things and all the fun that we've had. That is what means the most to me. And yes, winning is so much fun, but really when it comes down to it, what really matters is the community surrounding it. And anyone that I've met or talked to that is from Liverpool is just so kind and so welcoming. And even though we're 3 American girls, like, no, we don't live there, but
we wish we
want to
did,
support.
but...
Yes, but like we want to support them. So anyway, it's the human beings that I love, not just the wins.
Yeah. Well, thanks for this heart to
my
heart. I feel better.
It's just
or my existentialism.
Yeah.
I've had to like not be on social media very much this week because I'm just like, guys, you're losing the plot.
Yeah.
You're just losing the plot.
We all do at times.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. I get it. I just want to hug everyone. You just need a hug. It's okay. It's going to be just fine.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we start looking ahead to what's
No, I
next?
feel better now that I got that off my chest.
Yes, we're moving away from Champions League, Premier League for a little bit, moving into international break. I hope this feels like a good, like after the last 3 matches, a lot of times I'm like, no, don't ruin our momentum, because that's typically like how it's been with international break. I actually think this is a great.
Let's go ahead and ruin this momentum. Let's.
I'm like, this is good. I think this is good time for international break. Let's do it.
Yeah. I couldn't decide if it's frustrating that they can't stay and figure this out together, or if it's a good hit that reset button, everyone go, and then come back with a different energy.
It probably depends. I don't know. I'm just like putting myself in the shoes of a player. It probably feels nice to like go back to my home country, be around a different group of guys, be able to show up in a different capacity. I think if I'm Slot and the other managers, I'm like, no, we got to chat. So there's probably some different perspectives there.
It is an interesting thought about like if, people who are more like problem solvers, like they see a problem and they're like, let's just keep working on it until we get it, are probably frustrated. But the people who are like more processors and like, let me personally reflect and then show up better are probably like, this is good timing. So
let me
we'll
go
see how it
get
goes
a
for
night's
everyone.
sleep and then come back tomorrow
Yeah.
after I've had my shower thoughts, my driving thoughts. No,
Yeah.
yes, I think it will be good.
I think so.
There's nowhere to go but up. So
It's
unfortunately.
true. Yeah. Okay. So this international break, we have a couple teams with Liverpool players that could potentially get their World Cup qualifying moment. It's one of those like the stars have to align type of thing, but potentially Egypt and France could both qualify for the World Cup this international break. If they win, other people lose. Again, a lot of things have to happen, but excited for those matches. Would love to see both of those teams qualify. For our beloved international teams that we claim, the Netherlands is going to play Malta and Finland. Both teams that the last matches they won. They beat Malta 8-0. They beat Finland 2-0. So hopefully last international break for Netherlands was like a little more touch and go. So could see some good ground here. And then my, as we know, beloved team and the love of my life, Darwin Nunez. Uruguay has already qualified for the World Cup. So they've got a couple friendlies with Dominican Republic and Uzbekistan coming up this window. We've talked about this. I do love the international breaks, just getting to see different teams, our guys show up in different ways. And I think this will actually be hopefully a productive international break. Everyone stays
many
healthy.
of them get to be captains for their home teams.
Yeah, it's so fun
I'm
to
really
see.
rooting for Scotland, and I just like want it so badly for Andy for them to qualify. So I'm like really rooting for them this window to gain some points.
Andy's been on it, so hopefully.
Yeah.
Speaking of Andy, who are y'all's player of the weeks this week? Annika, who's yours?
Okay, I'm gonna give it to Curtis Jones. Classic. I love Curtis Jones. He is someone who, when I'm feeling stressed watching a match, when I see him come onto the field, I have a little bit of a sigh of relief. And also when he has a nice moment with the ball, he just brings me so much joy. And specifically, I would like to point out this moment in the pub where we were getting the substitutions and Andy was subbed on and the whole pub went, like everyone was screaming and rejoicing, and then Curtis got subbed on, and I love Curtis, so I started screaming and rejoicing. I'm the only one. So it just always reminds me that, I think everyone appreciates Curtis Jones, but I have a deep love for Curtis Jones. So he had some moments of like creativity and some good defensive moments against Chelsea. So I appreciate him so much, and I'm always rooting for him.
Yes,
he did. Yeah.
He showed up incredibly well.
He gave a great quote after, I think it was Galatasaray, just talking about, of course, they are wanting to win games, but this is the reality when you play incredible teams. But we just got to keep looking forward. And I love his mentality. I love his personality and his presence on the pitch. So Curtis has he's
so loyal and so passionate.
And I am so loyal to Curtis. So there you go. Okay, Steph, do you want to go?
Yes, my player of the week is Andy. He hasn't gotten to play as much, but the way that he has transitioned into being a non-starting player for the majority of the time, I personally have not seen anything in his attitude at all. The way that he shows up on the pitch in these matches, it's just amazing. It doesn't seem like there's a chip on his shoulder. When he shows up, he leads really well and he plays his heart out. When Andy came on, we got to see him fresh. He played so well. The chances that he created, hit the energy and the personality that he brings on the pitch, he's able to get under our opponent's skin in a way that's not... Connor Bradley can do that well, but he tends to get yellow cards pretty easily. But
He's
Andy
young.
does it. Yes. Andy does it in a way that it's just like absolutely hilarious. And it really just ticks our opponents off. And I love seeing the chaos that he creates. So I just wanted to shout out Andy for his leadership and the way that he shows up on the pitch. Unfortunately, after the match, I don't know if you guys saw, he was limping. He had 2 trainers on either side of him and they were helping him off of the pitch.
Shoot.
He had a nasty blow to his shin towards the end of the match. So I don't know what that's going to mean for him for international break. I hope it's nothing really terrible, but it looked not comfortable at all. But I am just so impressed with him. I'm so grateful that he is our vice captain, and the way that he shows up is so inspirational for especially the younger players that we have. Molly-Ann, what about you?
Yeah. My player of the week is Marmadashvili. I know we talked about his match today. Just incredible saves. He was even like the first goal Chelsea scored just so close to tipping it over the goal. So way to make your Premier League debut. I know it wasn't a clean sheet, but we could have easily had 4 or 5 goals there from Chelsea. I think what really impressed me was when Alisson got injured, players on the bench that are going to expect to come on, like a Frimpong, like a Robertson. You think like I could get called in. For the goalie, like when Alisson starts a match, you don't expect to get subbed on. And just the mentality that you have to sit in this always staying ready, even though it'd be really easy to check out type of moment, I think is really impressive. And he performed really well in Champions League. He had an outstanding match today. I want Alisson to continue to play, to continue to be our starter. But I'm so thankful that we have Marmadashvili waiting in the wings. And then just seeing his presence on social media and like how much he embraces Liverpool and the town is just, it's so sweet.
It's very sweet.
So
I really want to be friends with his partner. She seems adorable.
Yeah.
And she seems so great. I just think that they are a great addition to the team. We really need to figure out a nickname for him because
I know. Okay. I tried it out today. Some people calling him Mama. I did make a joke that I was like, Mama's making a home. Because I was like, he's bringing me a lot of comfort right now, like a mother would. So maybe I understand. But it doesn't really roll off my tongue, I'll be honest. What did you suggest, Molly-Ann? I can't remember.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Said Marmy is honestly the one that is in my head the
Marmy.
most.
honestly, that's
From little, like that's the one I want to call him. I want to call him Marmy.
That is what I want to go for.
Because Marmy also is a mother from Little Women. So
yeah, Mama's just a harder
it's
for me.
I don't know.
But Marmy,
Mama?
I'm just like that's
again
in my head. That's what I call it. That's like I just haven't vocalized it
we
as
can try
much.
it.
Throw it or
We'll
see how
try
it
that one
feels.
out, yeah.
Perfect. Anything else, you guys, or think that's all? Right.
I think
Okay.
we wrap it up. We leave these 3 matches here.
Yes.
We go enjoy our break, and we come back with some new energy.
I love that idea. I second that idea. So we'll be back here next week for international break. Until then, you'll never walk alone.